Welcome back to another episode of the Million Dollar Body Podcast. I'm Coach Nate, and today we're going to be talking about the one number that you should know in order to make wise decisions about what your goal should be for your body. Okay, and why is this important? Why should I be giving you a number that's going to help you get closer to your goals? Well, quite frankly, it's because I get a lot of questions about people who are talking to me about what should I do? I want to build muscle and I want to burn fat. Everyone wants some combination of those two things. But if you approach it in the wrong way, if you try to do step 3 before you've done step 1 and 2, you're not going to get the best results. Okay, so here's what I mean. I had a client come to me the other day, and he had been working with me for a couple months and doing a lot of stuff right. He likes to take charge of his own nutrition, likes to try different things out. So what he'd been doing is he had gone down the low carb route, not quite keto, but cut some carbs out. He's like, oh, I always do better with no carbs. So he's doing pretty good. You know, he's training 4 days a week. He's cutting carbs out. It wasn't really working for him. Then he's like, well, I want to try game changers. I want to try the vegan diet. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that that's not my favorite. I wouldn't consider that an ideal solution for anyone who's trying to make physical changes. Now, if you want to go vegan because that's what you believe is right, great, do your thing. But if you're trying to do it for a physique development thing, that's wrong. You should not be doing it that for getting skinny, for dropping weight. It's the wrong way to do things, and it's going to only set you back. So he tried that for a full month, very dedicated to it. This is a carnivore at heart, and he went vegan, full vegan for a month. Still no results. But the reason why he wasn't getting results is because he hadn't laid the groundwork to actually start burning fat. He had tried to skip phase 1 and go right into phase 2. So like I said, I believe there's 3 different phases. Phase 1 is all about hormones, chemical balancing. Are you out of whack with your hormones? And I'm not trying to talk to you about your ghrelin and your leptin and your testosterone and your thyroid hormones. That's a little above my pay grade. I'm not trying to tell you exactly what you need doing for your, some of those more intense hormones. And obviously they all work in conjunction. But one of the big ones that we need to be focusing on and making sure that is doing what we want it to do is insulin. Insulin and cortisol are 2 big hormones that we have control over based on the actions that we take, based on our day-to-day habits, based on how much sleep we're getting, how much water we're drinking. A lot of these very simple steps make a big difference in how our insulin and our cortisol levels affect us. Okay, so specifically what we need to be making sure of in phase 1 is that we're not insulin resistant. Okay, if that sounds like, oh, I don't insulin resistant, that's crazy. Simply put, what that means is you're not using carbohydrates, blood sugar effectively. So what's happening is we get tied up in this kind of vicious cycle where our body's not burning off blood glucose, it's not burning off carbohydrates, and therefore our body's producing more insulin to respond to that blood glucose just swirling around ourselves to the point where our body no longer is using the insulin to take the glucose and put it where it's supposed to be. Our body's kind of gets tolerant to the hormones that should be taking our fat cells and turning them into energy. So no longer is this working correctly. So it doesn't matter how much exercise you stack on top. It doesn't matter what you're doing at the gym. It doesn't matter that you're killing your CrossFit game 5 days per week because your body's literally not set up in a way to burn fat, okay? So I've seen so many people, successful people, smart people, people that are literally way smarter than me, people who are very successful, more successful than I'll ever be, make way more money, people who are just killing it in all other areas of their life, have no energy, can't drop weight, always fatigued, feel frustrated with their family because they can't figure out why they're being a quote-unquote failure at this area. Health and fitness should not be the one thing that's determining how successful you feel on a daily basis, okay? And so what I want to see is high performers, people who are business people, entrepreneurs, salespeople, striving in some area of their life. I want you to be able to get the results you want in your fitness. So let me try to simplify this for you because it feels like I'm not simplifying per the usual. So basically, if your body can't burn fat, if you haven't taught your body, hey, these are the triggers, these are what we need to be doing to burn fat, then you can't skip to the next step, which is fat loss, okay? So like a lot of people think, oh, fat loss, that's just like a thing that we do. I go to the gym, I lose 30 pounds. Then I stop going to the gym, I gain 30 pounds. But what these are signs of not being able to losing and then gaining right back, that weight loss roller coaster, these are all signs of insulin resistance. Okay, so until we get phase 1 knocked out completely, we can't go to phase 2. We don't deserve to go to phase 2. And by the way, phase 2 is not going to do anything for you. Okay, you might lose some weight, but guess what? You get it back. You get to keep it. You get to keep it. Good news. You don't lose anything. So you got to do this step by step, and it's annoying. And a lot of times people, when they go through like the phase 1 program with me, they're like, why haven't I lost weight yet? And we're like, because we haven't trained your body. That's what we need to be doing yet. We haven't trained your body to start being able to pull fat from your stores and use it for fuel. So it's a communication issue. It's not necessarily you suck or you're too dumb or you're overeating or you're just like you're only eating sugar, because a lot of times people are eating the right things. It's just a communication issue with your body where you haven't solved that problem yet. So it'd be like me trying to get under the bar and be like, all right, boys, 315 bench press time, let's go. I haven't done the requisite work that allows me to be able to even get to 315. So when that bar comes down and breaks all my ribs, that's my own damn fault, because I didn't do the work ahead of time. I didn't prepare myself physically, mentally, emotionally, fiscally, whatever it is, okay? So let me be totally clear with you, though. I'm not giving you an out for your shitty eating habits. If you're crushing Cinnabons being like, I'm insulin resistant, well, that's your fucking fault, okay? And you need to fix that problem before you can even start fixing this. So we're not talking about phase 0 of stop drinking soda and stop eating crummy garbage food. That's obvious, okay? So if you're like, well, what should I do? I eat 6 Cinnabons a week and I have 12 Dr. Peppers. Well, we need to, you go figure that out. And when you're ready to dial it in a little bit more, let me know, because I can't help you with just piss poor eating choices, okay? You need to be making smart choices. And like, if this should be pretty obvious, but that means no sugary, high calorie drinks, okay? It means ditch the fried and fast food, okay? And it means eliminate as much as you can of the processed sugar garbage that we eat on a daily basis. All right, so that's just the stereotypical breakfast food, all part of a healthy breakfast, right? Your frosted flakes, your donut, cinnamon roll, your bagels, your toast, your orange juice. Get rid of all that stuff, and once you're done with that, now we can dial in to phase 1. Okay, I'm not even going to talk about phase 0. It's boring. Okay. So phase 2 now is get into fat loss. We can start teaching your body to burn fat, or we can actually cut some calories down and have your body respond in a way that enables it to burn the fat that you want to burn. So it's not going to be, I'm not promising you, oh, once you hit phase 1, then it's magic, just start dropping pounds. No, you get slow and steady progress and you get to keep it. You're welcome. Okay. So if you're like, you should be like, as a man, if you're a heavier man, you should be burning as much as like 4 to 5 pounds per week. If you're a lady, or if you've had less to lose, somewhere around 2 pounds per week is probably about average for most people. Okay, that should be fine. Even if you get 1 pound per week, honestly, if you do that for a year, that's 50 pounds. So like, that's pretty awesome. So don't stress about it. This should be slow progress where you eventually get it. Any good fat loss goals, at least 6 months, if not a year, especially if you have 25 pounds or more to lose. Think about this as a year-long project, because you need to lose it and you're going to maintain it. Okay, we get to phase 3. Phase 3 is the metabolism building, muscle tone, that sort of project, because now that we've dropped enough weight for your body to start being like, oh, I get it. Like, I am lean and I can actually have the ability to build more muscle. So all these things stack on top of each other. Our hormones are aligned, so we can burn fat. Once we have enough fat, once we decrease our fat enough, then our body's like, okay, I can build muscle at a better rate. The best time for anyone to start building muscle, and some of the most insane, crazy gains I've ever seen, is after people finish like a figure, a physique, or a bodybuilding show. When they get just dick skin shredded, just super ripped, and then their body fat's super, super, super low, the next 2, 3, 4 weeks is the prime time for their body to start regaining muscle, building, as they cut those calories way down, and then we start building the calories back up, called reverse dieting, but it's in a shorter period of time. We can start building muscle at a way faster rate than we ever could when our body fat was at 15, 20, 25%. When you start trying to build muscle, when your body fat's too high, you'll get some muscle for sure, but that fat just keeps growing as well. Because if you're in a caloric surplus, when you're eating more food than you need, like you might want to do to build your metabolism, to build muscle, your body's like, great, we love extra food. We're just gonna slap that on the old tummy where the rest of it is. So we need to do these things in order. So that brings us to the point of this episode, which is, how do we know where we are? Well, lucky for you, I've got a great answer called the glycogen efficiency score. And if that's a mouthful, I'm looking for a better name for it. Okay. So the glycogen efficiency score, the GES, is a way that you can take a couple different of your own personal measurements, submit them, and I will give you a readout of what your number is. and what it means for your goals. So what's nice about this is it's not like, hey, my goal is I want to lose about 5 pounds because 5 pounds was when felt the best. Well, that's kind of arbitrary, right? When we're like, I weighed 20 pounds less in high school. Well, your body is different than it was in high school. Your needs are different than when you were in high school. So we can't use just like arbitrary numbers and expect those to stick and to get us feeling and looking the way we want. So use this scientific principle to actually figure out what needs to happen to your body to get the results that you want. Okay, so we're using a very simple measurement tool. Okay, all we're going to need is a little measuring tape, and then you all got to know is your height and your age. All right, this is super easy because I want to make it very simple for you to know what phase you fall into, and then what your goals should be. So take the quiz. It's n8trainingsystems.com/quiz. Will allow you to input those information, and I'll get back to you with a personal response on what your goal should be and what phase you're in. All right. So I'll make it very simple for you to know where you're at currently and what your goal should be and what constitutes success in terms of getting from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3. If you don't want to go through phase 3, totally up to you. That's a total personal preference. A lot of times you find that you're at finished phase 2 and you're like, good, I like where I'm at right now. I feel good in my body. I have tons of energy. I'm rocking and rolling. But until you graduate from phase 2, you'll never have your maximum energy and you'll never have the leanness that you might enjoy. Okay. And not to say that everyone has to be a certain body fat percentage, but in order to be able to burn off belly fat and use it as fuel for your day, for your mental energy, for your presentations, for your sales calls, for your board meetings, for your customer facing interactions, you need to get through at least phase 2. Okay. And this is it's not like, hey, let's go through phase 2 and then next year let's go through phase 2 again. I want you to get through phase 1, never do that again, and then have phase 2 on lockdown so you don't never need to ever go back through a full phase 2. We can just kind of use some of those principles. If there's ever a dip, if there's ever a bump, you go on vacation, you take a holiday, you're having eggnog spiked with your Aunt Jeannie at Christmas, whatever you want to do, I want you to be able to live your life, okay? So I want to give you the tools here to be able to get this done no matter where you are, no matter who you're with, and no matter if Aunt Jeannie brought the rum or not, okay? So what do we need to do? We need to take a measuring tape. We need to find that waist measurement right at your belly button, narrowest part of your waist. So don't give me your pant size. That's not going to tell us anything. Let me say it again. Do not write your pant size in waist, okay? That's not going to tell us what we need to know. All right, so once you figure out your waist measurement, hopefully you know your height. You don't have to put it in inches. I can probably convert it. I've done multiplication once, twice, 3 times. I've actually taken algebra classes 6 times because I failed algebra twice. I failed algebra 1 time. Numbers are hard. Algebra 2 1 time. Algebra 3, I think 3 is after that. Yeah, I've taken a lot of algebra classes. So I can handle this one. So just put those numbers in the quiz. Let me get back to you. I'll give you some really great feedback. This should be a pretty easy way for you to see where you're at, where you need to be going. So if you ever wondered, hey, I want to gain some muscle, but I'm also trying to lose some fat right now. What should you do? Where should you go first? Where should your energy go? At what point should you switch from fat loss to muscle building? At what point should you switch from phase 1, hormonal balancing and chemical balancing, to phase 2? How do you know when you hit that? I can give you all that information because it really depends on a case-by-case basis. Because to just say, hey, when your waist size hits 32, then you're good. That doesn't match up with what a lot of people are looking for. Okay, so we take into account your height, we take into account your waist size, and we take into account your age. Wait, you don't take into account my weight? No. Actually, that's one of the incredible things about this system is that we're actually able to, without using your weight as a metric, because to be honest, your weight has less to do with how you look in the mirror and your general overall health than this score, the GES, the glycogen efficiency score. So once we know the glycogen efficiency score, we can actually tell with reasonable certainty, are you insulin resistant? Do you have too much visceral belly fat, that dangerous kind of fat that sits around your organs and produces cytokines, which are inflammatory belly fat producing chemicals? So do you have too much of that? And once we figure that out, we can decide how many inches you need to lose, which correlates to about how many pounds on the scale you need to lose, so what that looks like. So taking a little bit more scientific approach. So have you ever wondered what my goal should be? take the quiz. n8trainingsystems.com/quiz. It's very simple. It'll take you about, if I'm being very, very generous, it'd probably take about 47 seconds. Okay, so it shouldn't take you very long at all. So if you ever wondered what my goal should be, if you ever wondered, am I ready to build muscle? How do I increase my metabolism? What should my waist size be? I can answer all those questions for you using this very, very simple metric of the glycogen efficiency score. So take the quiz in n8trainingsystems.com/quiz, and that should be a very, very easy way for you to start realizing where you should be going and start making the plan accordingly, right? So let's say I'm driving to see my friend in San Francisco. Could I get there if I just left my house right now? Probably. I could probably get there. A lot of signs along the way. I know how to get to, I'm in Phoenix right now. Getting to California is not that hard. Take the 10 out there. It's probably like another freeway. Probably take the 101 somewhere. I could get there. The point is I could get to my result, but it's going to take me a lot longer to get there if I don't just put it in Google Maps. If I want to get to San Francisco as fast and efficiently as possible, I'm going to plug that shit into my GPS, and I'm just going to let that take me. So why would you waste another day, another year, another 2 years figuring out, oh, well, I could do this. Should I try the keto diet? Well, I heard Game Changers is good. Veganism, huh? Why would you try that? Why would you keep messing around with the different types of diets, just looking at road signs, hoping that you get to your destination, when you can have a very clear idea of where you are currently and what your goal should be? So even like no matter what kind of diet you're trying, no matter where you're working out, if you're doing CrossFit, if you're doing F45, if you're doing just spin classes, if you just like yoga, if you don't want to do any sort of workout, you're just trying to walk, the idea is that you know where you are and where you're going. Very, very powerful in not only setting your goals, but making sure that you're able to see the end result and see how close you are to hitting that. So glycogen efficiency score is a simple concept, but it can yield you very powerful results in your life because now it's going to give you a absolute number. You can slap up on the fridge, put on your door, whatever it is you need, and just start seeing the solution, seeing the outcome here. So I want to give you that right now. So n8trainingsystems.com/quiz is going to give you the answer to that question. I'll actually touch base with you personally if you go to that form, fill it out, and I can share with you where you're at and where you're going. So if you have any other questions around the glycogen efficiency score, or what a waist to height ratio could do for you, or why we don't even use weight anymore, why that's not necessarily the best metric for determining where your goals are and how to get there, please just send that email, nate@n8trainingsystems.com. Be happy to answer those. And I'm excited to see what we can do when we know that where we're headed. Excited to see what we can do when we know the directions, when we know where our GPS is taking us. So really excited for the possibilities here. Hopefully this has been less confusing and more enlightening, at least give you an idea of what to be doing to get to where you want to go. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I hope you have a great afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day. And if you like this podcast, please like it, subscribe to it, tell your mom about it. And then you know what? While you're telling your mom about it, be like, Mom, you know what? I really love you. You're the best. Because you probably don't tell your mom that enough. And that's important. It's more important than telling her about my podcast, to be honest. If you're going to tell her one thing, just tell her you love her. All right, guys. Coach Nate.